tuning in to Tisha Talks Live, and happy Hump Day, happy Wednesday to all of you. Laura, so good to have you. This is Laura Pugh. She is an intuitive and intuition expert. And today we're talking about how to make better, faster decisions. So, hey, Conrad Nelson joining us on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Laura, thanks so much for being here and taking the time today to jump on in the hot seat and get
I'm glad to be in the hot seat. Let's burn.
Let's burn. All right. So today, guys, I shared that I'm in a video challenge. So if you follow me on LinkedIn or if you're following me on Facebook, I shared an amazing story and it couldn't have come at a better time. I shared how Laura and I met, and we were just laughing about this in the green room because I'm like, this was so unconventional. And it's kind of like that movie, Laura, that sliding doors, right? Like, you could go this way, you go this way, it could have a totally different outcome. It's all of these things. And I shared this story, but I think you guys know I'm a big time connector. I love meeting new people, as Laura does too. And we connected at Phoenix Fashion Week. It was the 50th anniversary or 50th episode anniversary. Brian Hill, shout out to Brian Hill, Phoenix Fashion Week director. He had us both on his show at different times, but we've never met each other. But we show up to this event both wearing white dresses.
And my intern, Sarah, also wearing a white dress, which was unplanned.
It was unplanned. You know what? I kind of feel like that happens. Like, I had a business partner and it was the funniest thing. We'd always show up in the exact same colors, but we never planned it. You kind of just start to think alike. You know, you're right. It looks good
with each other. Yeah. And I didn't even want to go that day. I mean, it was like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. Like, who wants to be at a networking type thing gig on a Saturday afternoon? But I was like, you know what, Brian, I got to go. I love Brian. I got to support the guy. He's such a sweetheart. He's such a great person too. And I was like, let's go. We're going to go, and also Sarah as an intern, like, it was a good opportunity for her to meet people.
Yeah.
So I was like, we need to go. And I met you, and the funny thing is I had been thinking for quite some time and had decided that, because I'm getting married in October and I was going to do some kind of like eyelash thing. I had been researching them and looking into like what are the different options with eyelashes these days, because it seems like there's so much stuff and I've never done any of that stuff, but I figure I should, right? For a wedding. Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, by the way, I have a gift card. And like, really?
So that's the other fun twist to this story is that they gave out a couple of raffle prizes and I ended up winning like $300 worth of eyelash extensions. And I was like, what? Like, I don't know that I'm going to use this. Like, I just hate for things to go to waste. And it was just a perfect connection to be able to check in with Laura, have a conversation with her and casually ask, hey, by any chance, would you like eyelashes? And she mentioned her wedding and I was like, gift cards in the mail. I'm sending it your way. There you go. And so think of it as a wedding gift. So I shared this story today in my video challenge. And people are like, she's going to remember that gift on her wedding day, after her wedding day, and all the pictures. And I was like, that's awesome. It's so awesome.
Well, what I didn't tell you was what was nice for me is I love thank you cards. I have like all kinds of thank you cards, but I usually get thank you cards from my clients thanking me, and they really touch me, but I haven't really had the opportunity to send someone else like a thank you card in quite some time. And so I sent you one and I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. Like, I haven't, this is the first time I've broken out these thank you cards in maybe a year or two. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was excited just to write a thank you card too.
And your thank you card was so sweet. It talked about like that knowing me is like part of your happy place. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this girl. It totally made my day. And that's honestly what we talk about are like small gestures equal big impact. I've been saying that a lot lately, and that, you have to be thinking about how will this touch the other person and how will it, solidify that connection and build a relationship. And thank you cards. Bruce is on here too. He's joining us off LinkedIn. He's amazing at that. He sends me thank you cards all the time. He sends me British tea. Like it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. All right. Well, thank you for everybody who's joining us. I see a lot of people joining on LinkedIn. I know we do have this question about Laura, does she have a LinkedIn profile? And I know you were sharing this a little bit, Laura, that you're kind of on hiatus off of LinkedIn because of like having to close your profile. She got kicked off, folks. She got kicked. She's one of the the troublemakers.
5,000, 2 decades worth of contacts. But it's okay. No worries.
We'll get you.
I'll be back.
We'll get you back. We'll get you back. But I will put up her link. Actually, let me do that real quick right now, just so you guys see how you can connect with her. There you go. You can connect with her on Linktree at Laura Pugh. So make sure you grab that link because this girl's like on Instagram. She's big on Facebook. And yeah, that's how you can find her. So let's get into this, Laura, shall we? Enough chit chat. Let's get this going. All right. So today, again, we're talking about how to make better, faster decisions. And I, for one, could totally get behind this because it's like, I hate this whole question, and I'm just going to share this. When we go out to eat on a Friday night, I always ask the kids and my hubby, what are we going to eat today? And this whole whatever. And I'm like, no, we are going to figure it out and then get in the car and then drive. We are not driving out of this damn parking lot until we know where. If I'm driving, I'm kind of having a conniption fit because I'm like, no, I want to know exactly where I'm going. Make a damn decision. It's just kind of getting like, the badass is coming out a little bit, but
yeah,
so true. Please make better, faster decisions. And Bruce here, he has this hashtag simpler, faster, better. So you two will get along just swimmingly.
And he's so right because, we're making decisions all day long. Like from what you put on to wear and what you eat, but even big decisions like who you're going to marry and, how are you going to, meet up with someone? Are you going to pursue this friendship and just business decisions? Oh gosh, they go on all day. So yeah, there's a lot of decisions for us to make throughout the day, big and small. And sometimes the small decisions end up making a big impact, as we discussed this morning. I mean, when we started this segment, because it's like sometimes you might decide to or to not go to an event and you meet someone that ends up being a key person in your life. Well, had you not gone, you wouldn't have met that person. Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of pressure when it comes to decisions and good and bad decisions. Well, bad decisions can cost us money. Mm-hmm. They can cost us heartache. They can cost us time. So yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big deal.
So what do you think, Laura, is the number one thing that gets in business owners' way, or just in people in general, when they're coming up with decisions, when they're having to make those decisions? What do you feel is that culprit of, oh, it's this, that's why I can't make a decision?
The culprit are all the myths that are out there. Mm-hmm. I do write about this in my book, but there's a lot of myths around decision-making and intuition, and that, for example, go with your gut. That's a big one that we say. Go with your gut, go with your gut. But you really don't want to go with your gut. You want, so scientifically speaking, intuition is perceived in the heart. The heart talks to the brain 3 times more than the brain talks to the heart. So the heart does talk to the brain. Now the brain talks to the gut. So if you go with your gut, it's almost like playing intuition roulette, because it might go heart, brain, gut, but it might just go brain, gut. And like our brains are, they're filled with traumas, they're filled with memories, they're filled with our ego needs, they're filled with our, needs, wants, desires, distractions. I mean, good things, bad things, but there's just a lot of distractions in the brain. So going with your gut is not the way, going with your heart. So that's just one of many myths. And that's why I ended up writing the book, because I was just like, no, I can't. These myths were driving me crazy. And I wanted to provide some clarification on them.
So what would you say, or how can business owners be better about making those decisions? Like, what are some steps, if you can walk us through, okay, I have this decision to make. There's a lot of pressure on me. It's going to make it or break it. Like, can you walk us through, well, what would you tell someone to do, Laura?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's 3 steps, and I can even give you, like, we can even go a little deeper with it if you want. But the basic 3 steps are ask, document, and then verify. So asking is like opting in, because we all have free will. So intuition is working in the background, and the scientific studies will have shown that. So we all have intuition. It's all working in the background, but it's like, are you going to opt in or not? You have to opt in because we have free will. We have to be, wanting it, right? Wanting the answer. And so you have to ask, and you have to ask very specifically. One of the other myths that's out there, I'd mentioned the myths, is everybody's like, oh, the universe has my back, or universe, show me a sign. And it's like, universe will show you a sign, but that's kind of like getting on Facebook and being like, hey, can someone do my taxes? Anyone, can someone out there in the universe do my taxes? And you're like, oh my gosh, sure. Like, 13-year-old Billy Bob next door is going to do them. It's the same thing. Like, the universe, give me a sign. Oh, the universe will give you a sign. You will get your sign. But you need to be specific. So, if you're religious, ask for that specific sign that's in alignment with your religious beliefs. If you're not religious, you can say, loving universe, give me a sign. Or loving universe, help me with this question. So be specific in your ask. The documenting is really more about, it's about identifying the patterns, because intuition works a little differently for everyone. It's kind of like, you have children, right? So children, like each child has to be parented a little differently, right? It is kind of like with intuition, like we're all a little different in the way that we communicate and perceive things and receive things. So you want to see what the patterns are for you. And that's what documenting is all about. It's just really kind of getting to know how intuition works for you. And then verification is really where the key is. And this is why I call it, my method, I call it the analytical intuition method, because, a lot of people are like, well, it's like either, or they look at it like an either or thing, like intuition or information, intuition or analytics. But it's really both. Like in fact, ambiguity combined with information and the need to make a decision has been shown scientifically to naturally just stimulate our intuition. So those elements are meant to actually work in lock, key, step together. That's how we're built. So definitely verify. I always tell people, like, even when I do intuitive readings, I'm like, feel free to be a skeptic. Feel free to relay this against when I'm saying against your own intuition, because that is part of the process. And so, those are the 3 steps: ask, document, and verify.
Good. Okay. So another quick question for you, and we have some comments coming in as well, but tuning into your heart, you mentioned that, like, tune into your heart. Your heart is what's talking to you. Don't go with your gut. Is that a solid answer? So if I say, okay, my heart's telling me to do this, I'm being very pulled to do this, my heart's telling me, can I say that that's the right answer? Can I say that that's a solid answer, that it's telling me and I should go with that? Go with your heart?
Okay, great. Yeah. So there's 2 things about that. One is I have a game that I play. I have like all these intuition games, right? So one of the games is you tune into your heart and you pretend that your heart is like a projector, and it projects out a Y and an S. So make your question a yes or no answer, and then ask the question, tune into your heart, project out the Y and N, and then see what happens. What happens to the Y and N? Does the Y become big? Maybe, does the Y come forward? Whatever. But, see what happens. The other thing I do with verifying is I have this thing called, you ask yourself, what is it HTTLU? So you ask, is it helpful? Is it timely? Is it true? And is it loving? If you get helpful, timely, true, loving, if you get a yes to all four, then I would proceed with it. I would go with that. If you get a no, though, to even one, then that means you need to go back, ask more questions, ask different questions.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And it looks like we're getting some comments here too. It looks like Bruce and Luis, and I know Stephen was on as well with us too off of LinkedIn. But I know people that are process people are really getting behind this because they love that. They love that. Let me take it through a one-step process. I think that this right here is Bruce. It says LinkedIn user, but it says ask, document, verify, super 3 easy steps that you can do. And Luis, I think it was Luis, or no, another LinkedIn user saying great points, patterns, and documentation.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like intuition is seen as such a woo-woo type of thing sometimes, but really there's a lot of scientific studies behind it. And even if you look at also like the top 5 religions of the world, they all talk about the heart being the center of our wisdom. So yeah, it's really not all that mysterious. It's actually pretty simple once you start using it. The main thing I find is confidence, just getting that experience, having a couple of wins, and then you get more confident. But this is why I wrote the book, because all the myths, I think people want to use their intuition and they try to, but because they're using their intuition based on myths, they're not getting wins. They're getting some wins and some fails. And then you have that fail and you're like, dang, maybe forget it. Forget this intuition thing. I'm not going to go with it anymore.
Yeah.
You like your heart got broke, or you brought in a terrible business partner or whatever, right?
Right.
Or the accountant that, swindled you out of all this money. I mean, these are real stories. So, it's simple, but you do have to go with the heart. That's really the main thing.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. So LinkedIn user is Bruce Carnahan. I just found that out because I've been doing a little sleuthing on my phone. But he says this comment, not sure if this helps. I had a mentor once who said, Bruce, just be 51% right to move forward and 60% is world class. So,
Well, that's such a great point, because you have to be willing to fail.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to just not get what you want and move forward anyway. And I've made so many mistakes in my life. I mean, there's no question. But when I look back on I found that there's always been a way for me to recover from that mistake, but also learn from it. And honestly, like when I wrote my first book, which was more about my story, I realized, gosh, all those things that felt like mistakes, they really weren't, I guess, because they actually made me who I am today. So how is that even a mistake? Mm-hmm. So I think that what his mentor said is so great, so perfect. It's like, just go for it. Just move forward.
Just go with it. I loved Conrad Nelson's post here, his comment, mind versus heart versus gut and how they work together. I am intrigued.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is even a lot of studies out there that are showing that how what you eat, because of the, affecting your digestive system, affects your behavior and your mental thinking. So it is also integrated. It's fascinating, but it's emerging science. Some of it is so new, but yeah, it really, it's all integrated. It's all meant to work together, not apart.
Yeah. I want to share a funny story about that, Laura. And it's what you said earlier about, oh, universe, show me a sign. Show me a sign. So I'm just going to go into the story that kind of goes in alignment with what you just said about like diet and so forth. So I have been on this journey. I started about a month ago, and I had this vision in my head, and a lot of my LinkedIn friends know this, and I believe Conrad too, that I had this goal to get my celebrity dream bod. And my celebrity dream bod is Letty from Fast and the Furious. Like she's just like badass. I think I might have told you about this.
Yeah.
And I was doing so well, like hitting the gym 5 times a week and like really pushing it, working out with my trainer and then working out on my own. And then I went to Vegas. You remember that was around the time we started talking. I was like, I'm going to Vegas with the hubby. We're doing our anniversary. And it would just, kind of dwindle down because, my stomach was like, hey, we're in Vegas. We don't need to be doing this crazy workout routine. And just getting back to it has been really, really challenging. It's been a little harder, but I'm getting there, like getting back up there. So today, I kid you not, I walk into the media room at my gym because I like working out when it's pitch dark in the room and running, and Fast and the Furious is playing on the big screen.
It's like, welcome.
We're like, Letty's been waiting for you. Like, let's get back to it. And here she is, like, just big screen. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I called my personal trainer. I'm like, I think that was my sign. I think that was my sign that she's waiting for me.
And that's wonderful. One of the things I teach is when it comes to signs, because I definitely believe in signs, you define them. That's the best part. That's when they become really powerful. So when you say, like, and the great thing is, like, come up with like a really weird sign. Like, don't do a penny or a feather or something that you can dismiss so easily. Make it really weird. And every time I tell a client this, I get a text like either the next day or like within 3 days, and they're like, Laura, you won't believe it. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, and sometimes I will get the client sign. And I'm like, seriously?
I want to share. So the funny part of this whole story is my trainer told me his celebrity dream bod. Okay. And he said initially it was The Rock, which I was like, I don't know. You guys don't really have the same build. Then he's like, Jason Statham. Okay, Jason Statham. They're all in that same movie and they keep appearing. Like, I remember walking in and I walked into the gym and it was Hobbs and Shaw. I was like, there's your sign. So whoever is picking the movies at that gym clearly knows that that's my vision. That's my goal.
Yeah, reflecting right back at you.
I know. Isn't that crazy? It's just crazy.
We get a lot of information from the world around us that reflects us. It's always reflecting back at us. So it's like, sometimes I tell people, well, you almost don't even need your intuition sometimes, because if you want an answer, look at the people around you and observe what they're doing and saying and how they're acting. That'll probably tell you a whole lot about what's going on with you. Yeah. I remember one time I was like in line at Starbucks, like in the drive-thru, and this guy like yelled at me, like he was really upset over like nothing, I forgot what it was, but I was just like, dude, what are you so upset about? And I just remembered the whole like reflecting thing, and I was like, wow, what am I mad about right now? And I went, oh yeah, I am mad about that one thing. That's right.
Oh man, you're right.
There's just the world reflecting back at me and just reminding me of who I am.
Oh, that's really good though. It's good to be able to recognize that they're like, everybody's being really mean to me. Like, what is going on here? But what are you putting out into the world? Like, are you putting out positive juju and positive vibes out there?
Yeah.
Or is what you're putting out like attracting negative energy?
Yeah. Or are you being mean to yourself? It usually comes back to the self.
It does. Yeah.
How are you treating yourself?
Right.
But that's good. I love that you had that sign, because it was definitely like, to me, it felt like a welcome back, like welcome back.
I know. I was like, we're back in it, Letty. We're back at this.
That's awesome.
I needed that sign. sign. And again, walking in, I was like, all right. I hear you. I see you, Letty. Let's get this going. And it honestly made me work out a little harder, and like I was excited, and I was more energized and more motivated, because a lot of times we fall off that motivation path, right? Like we're like, how do I get back that motivation? And you have to remember, I mean, they say this all the time, remember why you started it. Like, remember why you're doing what you're doing, and that can get you back on track. That'll get you back on track. Yeah. It was good stuff. Well, I know we have a couple of people commenting. Conrad asked this question, do you tie that into the chakras? I'm guessing he's talking about like intuition and gut and heart and all of that. Do you do that too, Laura, or you want to share on that topic?
Yeah, the chakras, I mean, it's interesting because couple of things about the chakras. So how that works for me in my life, two ways. One is I have this thing where I envision just the love and the light of the world coming through my spine, but really my I always say my spine, because it's just easier to say it that way to people, but but it's really your chakras, right? And then I imagine that loving energy pouring out through all of my pores, so that should anything, negative hit it, it gets transmuted in love. So it heals me and it heals the world effortlessly. That's my thing. And then also, like, it's really easy to, like, just a side note about chakras, if you're into that, it's really easy to, like, just, if you have, like, let's say a necklace, any kind of pendulum type of necklace, you can just put it over every chakra yourself to see, like, does it go in a circle? If it doesn't, then all you do, I do this with clients, but it's really easy. You just envision that chakra opening up, and it opens. And that's just a simple exercise that anyone can do. And you can always Google what the chakras are, like where exactly they are. But yeah, it's a simple exercise anyone can do.
Very cool. All right, Conrad, I will be expecting a full report about your chakras and how that necklace, how did it swing for you? Just kidding, Conrad. I know you'll tell me. I know you'll do a video message and tell me, though. So awesome. And then Luis has a great compliment here. Awesome show, great topic, and some funny stories. Yes, Luis, we bring it. We bring the fun. Definitely bringing the fun today. Awesome. Well, Laura, tell us about your book. Like I want to give you some time to shameless plug. You just have a book out. You're an Amazon bestseller. Like, tell us about your book, AIM, the Analytics Intuition Method. Yes.
Yeah. So here's the book. So so I wrote this book really to dispel the 9 myths of intuition, and then help people with very practical tools specific to business in this book, because this is my 3rd book. In the first book, I give more life. It's more about like just life, like regular, but this is more in tune with business, and so tools that you can use for intuition, brainstorming, decision making, as well as like innovation, creativity that you can work with for just an individual, but also groups, if you have a team to work with. And then different exercises, kind of like, I taught us that game, lots of games like that in there that people can play with them. That wasn't going to sound right. That people can play, intuition games to help them with their decision making, innovation, creativity, and that sort of thing in the business setting. So lots of that good stuff here in the book. So, and it's just on Amazon. You can get the Kindle, or you could get the physical book, and it's, as you can see, it's a real thin. I mean, it's a fast read. I'm not into writing, big books with lots of fluff and information people don't use. This goes down to the good meaty stuff that you can, actionable stuff that you could sink your teeth into.
Nice. I like those kinds of books.
Yeah, and it's on the link tree. Just go to the link tree and you'll find it. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and we have the link tree right here. So Linktree/Laura Pugh. I always say Lara, but Laura Pugh. And that's how you can connect with her. Laura's out here in Arizona. For everybody else that's also in Arizona, you should connect with this amazing woman. And yeah, thank you so much, Laura, for being my guest on Tisha Talks Live today. Is there anything else you want to share before we close out?
Oh, just thank you for having me. And, just everybody, we all have intuition, so use it. Start it with the heart. Start with the heart.
Oh, I love it. All right, start with the heart. All right, guys, that's your big takeaway. If you want to connect with Laura, make sure that you jot down her Linktree information to get to her website, to find her new book, and then connect with her. Connect with her, absolutely. And Laura, I will see you, lady. I adore you, and it's so great to finally, catch up with you and do this interview and have so much fun with the eyelashes.
I will. I adore you too. Thank you so much for the opportunity to connect here. And I know we'll be talking some more. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you back. Bye.
Bye.